You all know her. She's our tremendous representative in the House of Representatives. Where she serves with tremendous courage and great principle and stands up for what's right all the time, whether it's peace or universal health care or union rights. And she's been here. She's been at the Capitol time and time again over the last 4 weeks, showing her solidarity, inspiring the activists, providing leadership, which she does so well all the time. So please give it up for Representative Tammy Baldwin.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you all. Like Ed Garvey, I have remarked so many times over the last few weeks of how proud I am to be a Wisconsinite. How proud I am to represent all of you in the United States Congress. What we've seen over the last 4 weeks is amazing, amazing. But I'm also, I know you are too, proud to be Wisconsinites because of our incredible history, because of our firsts, our progressive firsts. We were a leader in education, civil rights, and workers' rights. We were one of the first states to write into our state constitution a guarantee that all children should have access to a free public education. We were the first state in the Union to ratify the constitutional amendment guaranteeing women the right to vote. We were the first state in the Union to protect gays and lesbians from discrimination in the workplace. You know, our state, Wisconsin, we invented workers' compensation in 1911. We were the first state to pass unemployment compensation laws in 1932. And we were the first state to grant collective bargaining rights to public employees back in 1959. And yet we get this guy who's in office for 6 weeks and wants to repeal 6 decades worth of progress in 6 days. But we the people rose up and we said, no way, not here, not now. And what did we do? Well, we gathered, first by the dozens, then hundreds, then thousands, and then tens of thousands, and we all stood together and said, no way, not here, not now. Now, we may have lost a battle this week, but we will not cave in to these extremists. You know, they're just beginning. They're just beginning to advance a long agenda, an agenda that they've been plotting for decades to slash and burn so much of what we hold dear. Now, people ask me all the time over the past few weeks, does this really matter? Are we really making a difference? And I answer with a resounding, yes, you're damn right we're making a difference. You know, already because what we've done in Wisconsin, there are people in other states who will not have to fight this battle. This past week represented the 46th anniversary of the Voting Rights March. from Selma to Montgomery. And I wonder about the protesters and demonstrators and marchers, what they were thinking back then. They couldn't have possibly known what their actions would mean. In a sense, they were simply putting one foot in front of the other. But by doing so and by speaking out, what they were doing at that point was facing tyranny head on. And what they did was change the course of history. That's what you're doing today. That's what you're doing here in Wisconsin. You're facing tyranny head on and saying, no way, not here, not now, and not ever. Now, I just heard Ed Garvey struggling to say something nice about Scott Walker. I actually am going to say something nice about Scott Walker. He's done one thing for us. He's brought us all together, all walks of life, students and teachers, parents and children, young and old, public sector workers, private sector workers, union families and non-union families, factory workers and farmers, nurses, firefighters, and football players. You know, he really has given us a gift, a moment of clarity in which we recognize what brings us all together and what binds us all together. Wisconsin values, workers' rights, a commitment to the education and health of all of our people, honesty, transparency, and respect for each other and for our democracy. You know, he brought us together, and we drew a line in the sand, or as some of my good constituents remind me, a line in the snow. We said, in Wisconsin, we solve problems by working together and not by silencing the voice of working men and women. We showed the nation that this abuse of power has nothing to do with balancing the state's budget. It's about union busting in politics, and it's about corporations buying elections and expecting a payback. We knew what they're selling, and we're not buying. Now, this is not a new struggle. What Fighting Bob La Follette said more than 100 years ago rings so incredibly true today. He said, when legislatures will boldly repudiate their constituents and violate the pledges of their platforms, then indeed have the servants become the masters, and the people ceased to be sovereign, gone the government of equal rights and equal responsibility, lost the jewel of constitutional liberty. Do not look to such lawmakers to restrain corporations within proper limits. Do not look to such lawmakers to equalize the burden of taxation. Do not look to such lawmakers to lift politics out of the ways of darkness. Fighting Bob La Follette has passed on, but he's also passed on to all of us the fighting spirit. It is up to all of us to be the stewards of our democracy the way he was in his time. We must take our battle to the ballot box. And as Jesse Jackson Sr. said earlier today, we must come alive on April 5. We must send a message to Governor Walker by electing Joanne Kloppenburg and restore the honor of our state Supreme Court. This is an election we must not lose. We must lift the spirits of the tired who stand in the trenches with us, and we must keep marching, one foot in front of the other, with the faith that we will prevail. Our cause is right and just, and we derive our strength from one another, and we stand together in solidarity. On Wisconsin!